This week in Warcraft, new character models will be released in 2 weeks, probably. Let's just say soon, TM. Heroic Garrosh has been killed by about 0.23% of the player base. Is this too small of an amount? And after this PvP season finishes up, there will be one more, which could last another 20 to 25 weeks. I'm Mezzy and welcome to our weekly. This week, episode number 17, I believe. So, this week we are joined by Babyface LJ.
I told you not to do that, fucker.
Do you really think I was gonna listen?
No, I should have
No.
given up all hope, to be honest. But hi,
Hi.
viewers!
How are you, LJ?
I'm doing quite well. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm actually doing well. I can finally say yes, I'm doing well. I had a great day.
That's good.
So, yeah, in a pretty good mood. Also joining us this week, Wookie Matt. Might as well give him a nickname as well. Wow. How are you doing, Matt? I so complete shit. Okay. It happens.
Not too bad today. Been enjoying messing around on the computer like any other Saturday.
Well, it's quite a good Saturday, I would think.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this week...
Playing an unnamed beta.
Oh yes, the one that has an NDA.
Yes.
So I guess we can't talk about it. But that should say enough already, so...
For the ones who don't know it, get off this fucking podcast.
This podcast is not right for you.
No.
So, the sound settings should still be the same. With testing, I wasn't sure if it was completely right again, but hopefully it is. And also, I have a bit of the hiccups, so if that happens, I apologize. Let's get right into it then. I will say that this week we don't have discussion points, but we probably have plenty to rant on today, so take that as a discussion point. All the rants we are going to do. So early this week, the PvP developer Holinka confirmed via Twitter that there would be another PvP season. Now, the gear was already in game for another PvP season in 4.2 just in case, so in that sense they don't need to do any more work. However, when he was asked how long he'd like to see PvP seasons last, Holinka said he'd like them to last 20 to 25 weeks. Now, the current PvP season has been out for, 16 weeks now, 17 maybe, meaning it's going to be at least another month before it ends. Now, that puts the start of the next PvP season in February. And if then we're going to have another season that lasts 20 to 25 weeks, we're looking at a July or August release date for Warlords of Draenor. Now, of course, there's going to be a possibility that this extra PvP season is going to be an exception to it, which means it could last shorter than it. However, it does, if it does, it sure does will mean that Warlords of Draenor is going to come out a lot later than we had kind of been hoping or maybe even expecting. And it also means, and this is the worst part, many more months in Siege of Orgrimmar, up to almost a year, which makes me cry a bit on the inside. So, with this new information, how do you guys look at this? As a patch 5.5 with PvE content would delay Warlords of Draenor even more, it's something we definitely don't want, I would think. Matt, how do you look at this?
Well, I never actually calculated in what you have there, where the fact that we're only in like week 16 of the current one at the moment, so it's going to take another month. I was never even calculate that, and so I'm even more depressed now than I was before. At the end of the day, we know, and I think I spoke about it, may have spoke about it previously. I know I spoke about it between friends. Of the current timeline, the quickest, the speediest expansion ever to come out was I can't think it was last. I don't think it was Cataclysm. I think it was one before, and it took 11 months from when it was announced to when it came out. That was the quickest that any expansion from when it was announced came out, and they were not led us on, but they have led us to believe that the way they are setting up the company, the way they are setting up um, for the current way of doing it should be quicker. So to then turn around and then bring that out to say that it's going to be another 20, 25 weeks. You've got another month. What then? Another 6 months of that. That's 7 months. So is it going to be? Are we looking at probably earliest October?
August, which means just 1 month less until a year of Orgrimmar, which is way
Yeah.
too much.
So, and the thing is, they're in a situation now. Are they delaying it slightly because there are other things coming out and they want to try and avoid that? Are they aiming to think this sort of thing is what the game that shall not be named? Um, but is that something that they might be taking into account, saying it's a big game? People may think that's going to come out in 4 months. If we bring it out a couple of months there, people still be involved in that. But if you leave it a bit, there might be like other MMOs that have come out. There might be dwindling them, thinking actually this isn't as good as what we thought, so we'll delay it and bring it out in
Well,
August, October, or something like that. I don't know. It's very disappointing because, as we've all said, I love Ogma. I actually do like Ogma as an instance. It is quite entertaining. It's quite nice, but for this length of time, for nearly a year, it sounds like one of the most painful experiences ever.
yeah. Before we go to LJ, one thing there is to consider is that in the intro news bit thing, I said that there was going to be a new character models preview coming out soon, TM basically. And one of the tweets that came along with that information was that um, they're also looking to integrate feedback from the community. And one of the major things that have been um, really fed back to Blizzard, as it were, was the option of sub races. For example, with dwarves, having the Iron Dwarves, for example, as an option as well. So there's a good possibility that they thought, hey, we should add that. Orcs can be the different clans, dwarves, yeah, same thing, and I'm sure they can come up with stuff for the other races as well. So if they would
Leper
actually,
gnomes.
exactly, leper gnomes. So what if they actually decided to implement that, but that would put a massive delay on Warlords itself? Because one thing to consider is that the developer team is now much bigger than it was for previous expansions, and that's why they have done sort of and are wanting to continue the quicker releasing of new content, including expansions. If they don't do that now, it means that entire thing is down the drain. If we don't see Warlords until August, September, excuse me, so that would be pretty shit. But if they would come out and say, we're doing it because we're going to implement this major change as well, making the new character models a lot more yeah, bigger, I guess. It matter that it'll matter more. Then I guess I could, yeah, take on Orgrimmar for so much longer, just to get such a massive change in a feature. LJ, of course, what I just said is major speculation, but other than that, just the PvP stuff as well. What are your thoughts on it?
What are my thoughts on it? Well, first of all, of course, with the PvP, with the speculation about the PvP season, I think that's also it is a letdown because a lot of people were hoping that um, what would be soon and would be arriving quickly so that we could play it in the summer, which a lot of people would like for the summer vacation and such. I personally am one of those, but Yeah, it is like you said yourself. It is speculation at the moment, so it's just waiting and seeing if it really is that. But if, like, also with if they're going to implement something major in the meanwhile, yeah, it could have all four sorts of variations, variables too. The WAD itself and the release date. You were talking about that by implementing that that it would be delayed. Sorry,
Well,
right?
it's just speculation. They haven't said anything about that, but they have said that they are looking to uh, implement the feedback from the community, and that's one of the major things that has been said back to Blizzard about something people would like to see. So
Yeah.
it's all speculation, but I guess it could make sense. You could tie it together like that, with both then the possible delay. We still don't know if it is going to be delayed because technically it isn't ready until it's ready. It is Blizzard after all.
Yeah.
Um, and so with the PvP tweets and then the one about the character models. It's that the whole character model thing is just complete speculation. The PvP stuff is pretty certain. It's just going to be the question: is the extra PvP season going to last in that 20 to 25 week range?
Well, just going back to how you said and how the tweet, I think it was said, that he would like to see the new PvP season go that long. So
Yeah,
it's not, it is pretty certain, but it's not 100% certain. So there is still
exactly.
room for changes there.
Because yeah, exactly. Because it is seen as an extra PvP season.
Yeah.
Yeah, the issue I have with this whole extra PvP season is the fact that you, how to put this? They
With words.
obviously, hey, they obviously haven't. You know, it's obviously something that they're looking at. They obviously know it's not planned. It's a bit disappointing. So it's very disappointing for me the fact that they've come out and almost rewarded the PvPers because they've got nothing else to do, and they're thinking actually it's going to take a bit longer than we thought. If they come out, if they were planning something like that, if they were planning something that was actually changing or an addition to it, then I'm not saying that we deserve or people like that should get benefits of this, but I actually think we're in a situation now where maybe we should have some kind of answer. We are all expecting the game to come out earlier because that is what they hint. Yes, we have listened to what they hinted at to be a very bad thing, and as people know in most jobs, presumption is the mother of all fuck ups.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where from BlizzCon, the way they sold it, the way they said everything, the way, as you said, they have put a much bigger team on this. Apparently, they were looking at this expansion from the start of from the start of
Well,
area.
they were already working on it at that point.
Yeah. So, and we all know it takes a while. So I'm not arguing that fact. I'm just. I don't know. It just seems a bit of a slap in the face that the PvPers have got something to do now for the next 6 months. What are the PvEers got to do? Yes, okay, you can turn around and say that the vast majority, which I think is in this section or the next section, right?
Oh yes.
The vast
Next.
majority of people can actually raid. They do have stuff to do. But then again, I look at the fact when thinking, is that fair? Is that how it should be done? Is that how we want to? Is that what we want to do for the next few months? Yeah, okay, like ourselves, we'll be able to raid. We'll finish the current tier in heroics. It'll be nerfed so a few more people can do it eventually anyway, which is again vice versa. But I just have worries about it. I'm not particularly chuffed about it taking so long. It's just going to. I think they could lose people in the short term to other things because people are just going to sit there going, "What's the point? Why should we keep playing this thing when say it's going to be for another year?" And it's just going to. I think it will get very boring.
Well, let's take a look at that. You said that the Elder Scrolls was coming out in 4 months, I believe you said last week.
April.
April. So pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If it is delayed, then that wouldn't actually have to be bad for Blizzard, because what players could decide to do, aside from not having completed all the achievements and all the raid content and blah blah blah, we'll get to that in the next section. Um, they could possibly play the Elder Scrolls for a while. By the time it's June, July, August, maybe even September, whenever Warlords comes out, then they'll even they'll either be done with Elder Scrolls already, and will be ready to get back to Warlords of Draenor, add new expansion, they'll have done something fun in the meantime, or Blizzard will lose those players permanently, but I don't think that would be a big amount. I think especially the more casual crowd will only resub for the few months of at the start of Warlords when everything is new, the way they've always done. When a new patch comes out, they'll resub, play the content until they're done with it, unsub until the next patch or expansion. So in that sense, the biggest crowd, I don't think Blizzard has to worry about much.
Maybe not, but if they lose players, I mean, there's still revenue loss, so it's still for them
Yeah.
a big thing they need to consider. And they might not. I'm not going to leave World of Warcraft because of this, of course, but it's still something that doesn't rub well, with
It pisses us off.
exactly.
Yeah,
So I mean, that's just
But
yeah.
the
It's just
thing
something
is,
that needs to be taken care of. To be honest, that
yeah,
the PVE players need to be treated the same way as PVE players.
yeah.
the,
My issue at the moment is the fact there's nothing come out about PVE. I know they've got a lot doing. I know they're sorting a lot out, but surely, yeah, okay, they made the announcements. Blah, that's brilliant, but nothing has been explained. There's no timeline been set because they are looking at this thing. But I said, if they
it's
turn
Blizzard.
around, it's Blizzard. If they turn around and say, but this is another thing. In BlizzCon, they were like, "We love you, community. This is why we're doing this for you. Because the community, man. That is what we're here for." Well, that's all right, but unless you PvP, they're sort of saying fuck your community because it don't really matter.
Yes. However, the counter argument of Blizzard, and I quite agree with this counter argument, is that PvE content takes much more time to produce, and however much time it takes, it will take the community less time to finish with it. So, would you want to wait X extra months or weeks, however long it's going to take for new PvE content, to then blow through it in a shorter amount of time, in which Blizzard has to catch up on the work on Warlords of Draenor? Do you want to wait even longer because of an additional patch?
Well, no, that's what I mean. That's what I understand that concept. But at the moment, there's been no. We're at a situation where there's been no announcement on when what's coming out, which we don't expect. I'm not expecting that's what they should do. That's fair enough. There has been nothing announced about PvE, sorry, at all. As you have stated, we've got another month left of. Let's say we've got another month. That's going to put us to what? Middle of February.
Yeah.
Middle of February comes. That's when the next patch is with the PvP. Fair enough, sorted, hunky dory. We get that patch. And we're trying our best to sort it out. Are you then saying that it's another 20 weeks? That's 5 months. February takes us into what? July? No, July. Maybe August if they do a 25-week one. If they do a 25-week one, that is a little bit taking the mick because then you get into August. As you said, that's nearly a year since Siege of Ugin has come out. And in all this time, people are working this out for ourselves. We're not asking them to help out. We're not asking for anything. We're able to work this out for ourselves. We're not stupid. 90% of people that play the game actually have played themselves. And please note, I did say 90% of the people that play this game have brain cells.
I would say less, but that's
Well.
just me.
But so surely they've got to somewhere think. Surely there's someone in Blizzard who has got more time on their hands than said to make a really good fancy dress costume for Halloween or something like that. To then turn around and tell us this is why we're doing it. Blizzard look an awesome company to work for. They have so much good. They look like they have a lot of fun, a lot of banter, brilliant. But they have to realise that when you've got such a big thing coming out as what WOD is, with such a really bad abbreviation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As soon as you've got something that's coming out and there's so much interest in it, and then you announce something like that about the PvP in quite an open-ended type of way, and not announce anything else, as you said, not give any reason behind this. Now, there probably might not be a reason. We might, as you said, it's all speculation, it's all cloak and dagger. But if they are looking at a reason, if they are actually doing something for the game that we all think, actually, I'm happy to wait for that, then isn't that worth them just making that extra announcement?
Absolutely. I think they should, obviously, but right now we've got nothing. And they said that after the new year they'd come out with new stuff, at least for character models. I would hope for other things as well. Because let's face it, the community craves information.
Yeah,
Once they have it, they wait a week and then they want more. It's how this works as a fan community.
that's how this podcast works.
Yeah, for us as well. For us fan, almost hopefully soon site type people, we crave this information so that we can work with it. Um, but just as regular players as well, we want to know what happens next because even that can give us joy. Not even having to play it yet, just the information of knowing what's going to happen next, what's new, what's coming. And they've still been silent. It's the second week, I believe, now after New Year's,
Yeah.
and still nothing. You would
No.
have hoped that before the Christmas break or New Year's break, whatever, that they would at least already have been preparing those things to be released after the New Year. But no, nothing.
Yeah, and this is sort of my issue at the moment is the fact that we're all in a situation now where everyone's speculating. No one knows exactly what's happening. What we do know it's going to be at least August, and that's if it is a 20.
If it's a normal PvP season.
If it's a normal 20-week PvP season, based on the current information that we already know. So we already know that it's going to be at least August when the patch comes out, which is okay, fair enough. Not going to argue. We've worked that out ourselves. More than likely, it's actually probably going to be August. It's most likely going to be October. And I just think we're in a situation now where we just need more information. More information really comes out so people can stop speculating. We don't need a release note. We just need some information to say why should we be sitting here with no information on what's happening. If they did turn around and make an announcement like that, as you said, they make an announcement based on
Community feedback.
community feedback, or it's something that people think, wow. If it's something that's going to blow your heads away, then fine.
But they aren't going to do that. You know, Blizzard. They don't
Yes.
normally do something like that.
But-
Not if it's a patch or whatever.
But then again, how can they turn around on one hand and say, what we want is, what we're saying is instead of turning around one saying we're looking at feedback, it's fine looking at feedback. It's fine saying we're going to use that feedback, but what's the point in using that feedback?
If you don't feedback back to the community.
Yeah, if you don't then feed back to the community and turn around and say, actually, we're using your feedback to giving us an idea. This is what we're going to do. What's the point?
Well, the thing is, though, because they're going to try it out, and if it doesn't work out and they've announced it, then it's going to be another dance studio or flying vehicles in Wintergrasp. And then, yeah, players are going to be disappointed again. So they don't want to make the full commitment towards the players yet, just in case it doesn't work out.
Which is the problem. That they're trying to do it a halfway house. They're trying to turn around on one hand and say, well, we'll do this because no one's going to ask any questions. And hope nobody asks any questions. And then when people start asking questions, they'll just become emu.
Yeah.
bury their head into the sand and go la 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 la. We're not listening.
LJ, you haven't said much. Anything you want to add?
Not much, I think. Matt said it all pretty well. So I mean, yeah, it's a lot of speculation at the moment. I
Yeah.
don't speculate that much. I don't like the speculating that much, especially now with Blizzard, because they've often said left and then went right,
Backwards.
and or backwards often as well. That isn't unusual for them as well. But no, it's just uh, it's a lot of speculation about what will happen, what they will do, what the reaction is. But I do agree fully on what Matt says with the feedback, and that definitely needs to be better. But also the information the information flow as a whole from Blizzard needs to improve a whole lot. It has been better in the past, but nowadays it's all bits and scraps what you get, and of course they need to keep it secretive and need to keep it new and such. But it's important to keep. I mean, if you have whole fan base, we're thinking now, well, we have to wait a half year for something that was a moment ago said like it's going to come soon, and we're going to work on a new project, a new expansion every year, etc., etc. I mean, if it already begins like this now, with us having to wait an extra that we have to wait 20 weeks while we were thinking more about like the lines 10 or 15 weeks, it doesn't bode well for the future, and that only means that we as a whole, as a community, will get more and more agitated, which they can only blame themselves for. To be honest, we're their customers, and we want products that have been promised to us.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I think Blizzard needs to get their shit together and actually produce the things that they've promised and do it in a timely fashion. It's well enough to release patches that might keep us satisfied for a couple weeks, Alien-esque. But I think it's proven that that doesn't really do the job. It doesn't really add something. It's an incentive just to keep us happy until the real stuff comes out. But that has happened a couple times now, and I really don't agree with what happens. And it's really like just keeping the carrot dangling in front of our heads.
Yeah. I guess one thing that kind of is making it hard for Blizzard to ignore us now is that more and more developers are going on Twitter and answering questions. Just this week, Ian Hazikostas, the lead Encounter developer, joined Twitter as well.
Yeah,
So, with now more of the art team, Holinka being active, Celestalon, now Ian as well, Watcher, I believe his um, dev name is like Greg Street is Ghostcrawler,
yeah, was.
um, was Ghostcrawler. I believe he's now at Occupy G Street, so that's pretty cool. But that aside, um, there's no way in hell they can just ignore us. They're going to continue getting the tweets. Where's our information? And they know. There's no denying the community needs their information after BlizzCon was in November and we haven't heard anything in 2 months.
Yeah,
So,
like I said, they need to get their shit together.
exactly. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we can say about this subject.
Yeah, then
Um,
if we say anything else, it might sound ranty.
I
Yeah,
know, right?
because we never do that on this podcast.
No, because we're always satisfied with what Blizzard does, as
Yeah,
this next point is obviously going to show. Oh, wait.
never
Well,
mind.
to be honest, the next point is more to do with the community than Blizzard. So, let's get straight to the next point. Um, so MMO Champion came out with some interesting statistics about how many players have been killing heroic raid content. Now, the information came out of 6.2 million characters from 2.2 million accounts, with at least one character active after November 26th. So, and if your character was in a guild, it was more likely that it would appear in the dataset. So it's not every single WoW account, not every single character, but a pretty big amount nevertheless. And so some interesting stats came out of that. 6.89% of the players, or characters, I guess, yeah, no, players, have killed Heroic Immersius, so nearly 7% have done at least something in Heroic. 2.37% have killed Heroic Malkorok. Now, this is the first more heroic challenge of the heroic bosses. Moving on to then dropping almost to half of that, 1.24% have killed Heroic Thok, which is the next big drop. And after that, the next big drop again is 0.6% have killed Heroic Siegecrafter, something Matt and I are still working on as well right now.
Yay!
Oh dear God!
What a
4 hours of that belt. Anyway, then on to Garrosh. 0.23% have killed Heroic Garrosh. Now, according to Ian Hazikostas, that's pretty consistent with the previous end bosses. As Heroic Garrosh, this is something he literally said, isn't meant for everyone. However, before Ian came out with that tweet, a forum thread popped up on the MMO Champion forums, which made my blood boil pretty much with some of the responses that were put on it. So, the thread was asking if 0.23% for Heroic Garrosh was too small an amount, and if heroic content should be made easier. Now, if you know me just a little bit, and have watched our previous podcasts, you can understand why that makes me blood boil and really freaking frustrated. So, in my view, the exact opposite, or rather, the exact concept of making everything easy is what has caused many players to now complain that they don't have anything to do. So, an example of this, once again, we always bring it up, but it is the perfect example, is Heroic Dungeons. So, they used to provide content all the way through the expansion in the Burning Crusade, for example. Yeah, in the Burning Crusade, really, because of their difficulty. Now, they're obviously a joke, and they're not worth doing on your main character for very long, or even alts. It's very quick to gear up, because you run through them very quickly, and you'll be done with them and move on to scenarios, LFR, that stuff, or even the Timeless Isle. So, I have a few questions here, and this subject is really going to be the discussion point as well this week. First of all, am I being my usual elitist self here, or am I right that these people now asking to nerf heroic content because too much effort is being put in, or too much developer time is being put into content that's only or only a very small amount of the players can defeat. So let's start with that. I assume you guys will share my opinion. So, are we being elitist, or do we have a valid point?
We're always the elitist, aren't we?
Yes, but
I think we specialize in that.
oh yes,
But
but is
I
our
think
frustration
I speak
justified?
I think I speak for us three, for the three of us. If I say that they can royally go fuck themselves, I'm sorry, but I mean
It's allowed.
seriously, if you want to play a game where you can do all the content, go play My Little Pony. I really, not every game is supposed to be for everybody. I mean, there's plenty of games that I've started playing, but haven't finished or didn't do everything because I didn't feel like playing it. To do this for every MMO is just basically badgering the developers into saying, "I'm not going to play your game if I'm not going to be able to play everything." Well, it's an MMO. If you see the size of an average MMO, you're not going to play, view, touch, feel, defeat anything, everything. there are supposed to be bosses that are out of your reach or not if you have the quality for it. It's like saying in real life that you want to become a physicist even if you don't have a grade school degree by saying it. It's ludicrous to ask that for you because your shit everybody has to be adapted to it. It's just it's turning the world upside down by saying that it should be adjusted to you and not that you adjust to it.
You need to have something to aspire to.
Exactly. I mean, if your life is going somewhere and meeting new challenges and overcoming them, time and time again, whatever it may be. And that's also in game. If you don't have something that you want if you don't want something challenging, like I said, go play My Little Pony or Hello Kitty's Island Adventure 2 together with Butters.
That's
But
quite challenging.
that is quite challenging. But still,
Don't knock the My Little Pony.
I don't know. Do the Teletubbies have a game out? Maybe they can play that.
I think they have one on the way, don't they?
I have no idea. Do they?
No, but I mean,
Oh,
it's just
Yeah.
insane to ask this of something that you really have to aspire to. It is a game. It's a challenging game. It's something you have to work with other players. You do not have the right to, as developers, oh, this is the last content you'll be making for this expansion. This is supposed to be the hardest content. Bring it down to my level so I can do it. Otherwise, I hate you. Okay, go ahead, hate them, but go cry in your own little corner, and talk about it with your mommy. But don't play the game then. If don't play the game then. If you don't want to have that thought in your mind that you can't be able to defeat it. I love that. I love challenges. I love seeing things. I love seeing achievements. I think, oh, this one I can do, this one I can't, or this one maybe, because the maybe makes you go for it. And if you get the maybe, you may be even be able to aspire to get the achievement that you cannot get. That is working and um, making yourself better, improving yourself. If you want stuff to be at level number 1 through the whole game, I'm not going to play that game. I'm sorry, but that's not even human. That's not in human nature to make stuff as easy as possible. That's not why you play games. That's not why you play MMOs. /and rant.
Matt, please join me.
Yeah.
You know, I did not expect this from you at all, LJ. If I had known, I'd have looked up a video beforehand with the standing ovation compilation.
I'm
And I
sorry,
would
but this
play
is
that right now.
it's the entitlement that players have nowadays.
Yes.
That which I have to add that Blizzard has given them because they have time and time again said, okay, we'll bring it down, we'll nerf it, but enough is enough.
Yeah,
On to you, Matt. Sorry.
It's all right. I shall say this in a slightly more level-headed and less ranty way. I pretty much agree with everything you said. At the end of the day, with the regards of what's happened with that particular thing, like, it's just doing me head in. Heroic is heroic for a reason. It is there for the people that want to push themselves to be able to push themselves. You look, the top guilds in the world don't do normal, don't turn around and say, oh, look, I've cleared normal. No, they clear normal for the fact they want to get to heroic. Normal raids are there for people who either struggle with a raid composition, can't do it every week, want a more light-hearted raiding environment, have a joke and stuff like that, and say, that is what it's there for. It's there for people. Some people struggle, but some people don't. Some people like to progress through it, and that is what they do. Heroic is there for the next step. Once they've done that, they've worked their socks off to get through that. Some of the girls, they then turn around and go, okay, let's try heroic. We want to become heroic raiders. Fair enough, good on them. Because it means something at the minute. Heroics can be hard. Now, we've had a few chats on what the heroics have been like in the expansion. The first few aren't particularly hard. Do we agree with how they've done the heroics in this expansion? We probably don't. For a couple of reasons. I think one, reason that myself and Mezzy have that we think is some of the setups you have to specifically have for certain fights. And one fight in particular, this expansion, Dark Shamans, is 3 healers. You can possibly do it 2 healers, but it's really 3 healers and 3 tanks. And you're sitting there going, what? And it's just people aspire on this game. People need something to aspire to, and that is what heroic raiding is. If there was not that there, so you said, I used to love doing heroic dungeons. I used to every now and then say, if I was doing heroic, yeah, people would do it. Now it's just if I was doing a heroic scenario because we really can't be asked to we really can't be asked to go into heroic dungeon because it's a joke.
And heroic scenario gives more valor and lasts just as long.
Oh, less time, lasts about 20 seconds, half of them, and most of that's chatting.
Yeah.
And it's just that, unfortunately, as LJ has said, the way the game has gone, the way that things have happened, is the fact that Blizzard have sort of helped them in their own way. There is no chance on the history of this planet of Garrosh being nerfed. He will be nerfed eventually, and that's that's not because people are moaning about it. That's not because people are going, "Oh, he's too easy." That is just the basic progression of all these games. At the end of the day, he will be nerfed because that's what happens. That's what happens at the end of the expansion.
To give more people a chance near the end of the expansion, but still hard enough that they have to put effort into it. And especially when the nerfs come out, certain rewards that are meant for the top of the crop will get removed because it's easier.
Yeah.
Like the nerf to the, or rather the drop rate nerfed, like freaking Invincible and Mimiron's head, which one of I should have gotten, but a certain greedy frickin' Moonkin who just got Alar still decided to take it.
You're not bitter about that at all.
No, I'm not bitter of that at all after 2 frickin' expansions or anything.
Hey, just wait. I've got a worse one. You know, LJ knows the worst one I've got. And it's worse than that. And you do. Yes. I had Alar, and I just got badgered into giving it to somebody.
Oh, it's your girlfriend, man. You did it yourself. Come on. I'm not gonna feel sorry for that.
You could have said no, and you were a pussy.
We know your girlfriend; she can be pretty persuasive, but still, it's your own fucking fault that you should have.
Anyway, off the topic.
Anyway,
off the topic again.
Yes.
Like the people doing it. I'm not going to say they shouldn't die, man. But yeah, they just need to shut up and just happily mosey around doing what the fuck they're doing. At the end of the day, if they're happy doing what they're doing, brilliant. The people that like hard content, there's a lot of them there. In that progress you've said out about all those people, there's a fair few guilds doing it. So
7% that are working on it in some way, shape, or form.
So at the end of the day, they can't then turn around and go, well, we don't agree with that. Oh, no, sod you. This is what the raid's there for. It's a challenge. It's something to aspire to. They've already brought in LFR, which people bitch about because not good people do it. Then you've got Flexi, people moan about because of that. At the end of the day, they're bringing in so much content for the casual raider to do and to sort itself out. The casual raider has LFR, then they have Flexi, then they have normal raids.
Yes, I have to play devil's advocate though, because one point that is quite valid that the opposition basically has is that not everyone wants to do raid content, and so they'd rather see that development time go into other content.
The thing is, what content would you have on a game like this? They already bring out quite a lot of content. The only other content that people like us would want is maybe hard heroic dungeons.
Exactly, that's the problem. Because of that exact whining back with the harder dungeons, it's caused that exact crowd to lose out on content to do right now. Had they stuck with the harder heroic dungeons, they would still be able to do them now. But no, People had to whine about it, and now I'm getting ranty, and I'm trying not to be. So I'll try to keep it short. But because of this exact issue, the content basically got removed from the game. Yes, okay.
That's what I mean.
Slash end
Fraba.
This is the issue that we've had. This is the issue that we've said for a long time. Is the fact that
Yeah, it's the
then-
issue that we have in almost every single podcast. It's the cancer of World of Warcraft. It's the core problem.
ooh, that was ranty.
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay, back to you, Matt.
No, at the end of the day, you cannot argue with what you cannot argue with that logic. You cannot argue and say, actually, we don't agree, because at the end of the day, it is true. Unfortunately, there has been too many people on the forums, too many people saying, "Oh, we want to do everything," and then in person's everyday life. And the worst thing about this is, a lot of the people that are whining, one, are probably kids. Two, are probably quite well-paid people that just are just wanting to be arseholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And that's the problem you find. That's what I find with it. Is the fact that if you actually look at some of the people complaining, they might be managers of businesses that have worked quite hard to get there, but when they've got home, they don't want to work that hard. They just want to chill and relax and kill stuff, which is fair enough. Play fucking Black Ops. Play COD.
Yeah.
Play something
There's-
where
There's so many more options for people who just want to be. If you want to raid at max level, it's not easy going. It's stressful. It's hard. It's difficult. We've all three been there, and we know what we're talking about.
And
It's not
two
something.
of us still
it-
are.
Yeah, two of you still are. I mean, I've taken it easy because I just don't like it anymore. But it's more. It's just. If you want to have stuff easy, go for the casual, generic shit that's out there. There's enough easy stuff in World of Warcraft or other MMOs or other games. I mean, go read a book if you want easy stuff. But I mean, don't push your agenda onto others who are enjoying the difficult content and not whining because they are actually trying instead of just whining and just saying, "Oh, I want to do it. Make it easier for me." Find 9 other friends, make a guild, and go at it.
Make
Go
an
at-
effort.
Make an effort. I mean, and if you can't make it, you can't make it. But I mean, nobody says that you have to do it. It's that you want to do it, but you're failing, and you can't handle with that. You can't handle that. I mean, that's the problem. I'm sorry, I'm not targeting this at anybody, especially in the audience, but it's
No,
just at random casual players who think that their agenda should be
the
the
moaners.
World of Warcraft agenda. Exactly.
Basically, the people who had these types of responses in that thread.
Yeah.
the people that can die.
I'm not saying that. Just the people should shut the F up. I mean, no.
Hello.
Hello.
That was slightly camp.
So,
That was
yeah,
ever
we've
so
pretty
slight.
much said that.
No.
Looking through our points, we have pretty much said that. Basically, this is the last part of content that's still around for people who want to put in an effort. Now, another valid question is 0.23% of the player base after 4 months of raiding there too small of an amount?
No.
No.
Sorry, say that again. I didn't hear you there correctly.
Okay, is 0.23% of the player base who have killed the Heroic Garrosh after 4 months too small of an amount?
No.
No, because unfortunately, I had the wonderful experience of doing the fight we all love, Arthas.
Mm.
Didn't do Firelands back then. I didn't do that Ragnaros or anything like that. I can't remember on the laptop because I quit then. And I was not doing Deathwing because I do believe that actually didn't take as long.
It was Spine that was the issue, not
Yeah,
Madness.
Spine was meant to be a nightmare. Madness was meant to be relatively easy.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, and it pains me to say this, these fights are hard. They're bloody enjoyable, and that's why. we enjoy doing them. To turn around and then say, "Well, not enough many people have killed it," it's because it's hard. It's not meant to take that long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's fine. Say Arthur's. I went. I think we. I can't. Was it 8? I can't remember how many tries.
650, I believe, about
Six-
650.
No, yeah, 500 to 600 is somewhere around that. I think
Yeah.
we did. We had to do.
Which is at least 10 weeks alone on heroic Lich King.
And I actually think
Yep.
that back in the day we did that. If I'm correct in my timing of it, I actually think we were ahead of schedule for a lot of guilds.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we did get 10 man before 25 man though.
No,
I
no.
believe in the at least when I was on vacation, because I was in the 10 man group with Celius. Right in the week when I was on vacation, they got it on 10 man. So we had to go back for me and maybe one other person to do it on 10 man again. But
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that was our 10-man thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, it took that long because that's what heroic rating is. Either you go for the challenge because there needs to be a challenge, something to aspire for in an MMO, or you don't. But we've said that. So 0.23% after 4 months, fine, right?
Yeah.
No issue there.
No issue at all with that.
No.
Alright, so some posters were saying that 5% instead should be the goal amount. But then really heroic content would become significantly easy.
Well, then
So-
you're looking at Mercius.
Oh yeah. Then you're looking at basically heroic immersive difficulty as the final end boss. That's insane.
I could just hear the amazement in your voice.
I know. We'd have been done after maybe 1.5 months of Orgrimmar, and then have 10 months of farming. Are people realizing how crazy this is? 5%. What the
Probably
hell,
not.
guys?
Wow, you know.
They probably don't realize it. I think
No.
what they are saying, but that's also a problem. They don't realize what kind of effect it has on everybody, not just themselves. And yeah, by not thinking about that, it's just I want everything, I want it all, and screw the rests. But yeah, it has so much more implications than just lowering the difficulty from difficult to normal or something like that. But that's why people want to do heroic. That's why the option is there. It's not for people to rant about, but I don't want to. I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Alright, so I am insane because the 5%, mind blown, a heroic immersius level. Okay.
You never quantified it like that. There's a big word for you. You never quantified it like that before, had you?
So one question, and I gotta say it is a valid one. Should so much developer time be put into content played by such a little part of the community?
Yeah.
It is one of the core features of World of Warcraft and of
Yeah.
MMOs basically as a whole. I mean, raids, if they stop making raids, it's been defeated by that man. By that, that's difficult with statistics. It doesn't show the whole story, but it's been defeated by that many people. But how many people are actually playing that at the moment? How many people are actually trying Heroic Mercius or
Well,
I've
7% have defeated it.
exactly 7% have defeated, but how many people that
Yeah.
of how many people is that? 7% of what?
Of
Millions?
those 2.2 million accounts?
Exactly, 2.2 million accounts. So that just to think about that, the effect it would have on those people, 2.2 million accounts. Just not all those players not being able to do that.
And you've also got to
It would be a historical moment before that happens, I think.
you've also got to put into account as well that it's not just that that people have got to take into account. It's the fact that people play the game nowadays. A lot of gamers play this game because of how hard it is, because of the amount there is to do end game. It would just be a complete piss take if they then turned around and said, "Yeah, wow, it was good while it lasted."
Yeah.
It would be almost comical. It would be that dramatic.
And the thing is, the amount of people that play this game want to be serious, want to raid like an, they want to do a lot on this. So I just don't know how anybody can seriously say it needs to be nerfed. It can't be, because this is what we go for. They've had the compromise now. They've had stuff along the lines of, let me get my head around this correctly. We had heroic dungeons. People moan they were too hard for everyday content.
Mm-hmm.
So, our reward for people getting, our reward for actually being effective at what we were doing and being good at the dungeons and really fighting way through the dungeons was for it all to be nerfed. Well, wasn't that good for us?
Nope.
And
Wasn't that good for the game? Look
Yeah,
what
wasn't that
heroics
amazing?
are now.
And
Heroic
then,
dungeons.
yes, I mean, it just, and the thing is, CC is pointless. Even at 90% in PvP is pointless. There is no point in World of Warcraft now. There is no actual point in CC at all.
Arena aside and rated battlegrounds, because
Ugh.
CC is a problem there, that there's too much of it.
Okay, CC and stuns and stuff like that, classes, crowd control, yeah. Sorry, those type of CC, yeah, in PvP is useful. So I'm talking about other stuff along the lines of, say, just
Holy
in the
moly.
actual PvE content, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There is no point of it in PvE content.
Because it's all face rolled.
Yeah. So you've already taken that aspect out. I can remember doing Black Temple, and literally you're having to CC every single trash fight you do, because you pull in 8 or 9 mobs, and you're sitting there going, this could wipe us. And it's fun. The trash isn't hard in the dungeons, in the big dungeons. It was never hard. It was just never of a standard where you could AoE it all. And that's where the big mistake's been made. It's just been everything. It's been dumbed down a little bit. I just really, really hope they keep it as it is, because if they didn't, it would just be a travesty, and I think the game would lose a lot of people over it.
Exactly, because really what's going to save the game is making content harder. So that people actually have something to do for a longer period of time. And people fail to realize this. Every point where things have been nerfed is where the lifetime of that content has been shortened significantly. And people refuse to understand or believe that concept, which is a sad, sad thing, because it affects not just them, but it affects all of us. And how it has progressed since the Burning Crusade into Wrath, into Cataclysm, into Mists of Pandaria, is really a sad state of affairs. I play World of Warcraft 12 to 16 hours a week now.
A day.
And what is that?
A day, yeah.
A day. No. Because then I would have something to do. I only log in to raid. Maybe to make potions and flasks for those raids. But outside of it, to me, I've done the achievement hunting thing. In that sense, I am done as a WoW player, I guess, for the achievement points. But there's nothing for me to do that's challenging outside of raiding. So we need something that lasts long. I did Timeless Isle. People are right. That's done. But it was also easy. It's not going to last.
It did not form a challenge in whatsoever. It was basically just grinding the shit out of it.
Exactly.
It was all
If you had a lot of time, it was all right. It wasn't too bad, but it wasn't challenging.
yeah. It was with Thomas Hardy. It was an unfortunate situation where it could have been slightly more organised and better than what it was.
But the
Uh,
concept was still very good.
yeah, unfortunately, as we said, the act they didn't do it very well in the fact that they probably could have used more phasing involved. They could have
Hmm.
waited for the people that just get on the island. If you I if you want a group for doing, say, the Celestials, then once you get your group for the Celestials, you all phase into the same one. You need a group for it when you first got there, and that wasn't too hard because you'd be on the same channel.
Hmm.
But up until that point, I really do think they needed to use something along the lines of just phasing certain bits of it out. Like when you first get on the island, doing the first set of quests, just phase them into something else. Don't have everybody on the island doing the same fucking thing. It was horrible.
Yeah, that's a yeah, that's an idea for the Timeless Isle thing, but it's the trend that has caused people not to have anything to do outside of raiding, and now to ask the same thing for raiding, what are you trying to do? Kill it? Then there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Um, that's basically how we see it, and yes, we are elitist raiders. I Yeah, we are elitists. We're jackasses. I know I certainly am. But
Yeah, but you're a jackass in general, so that's fine.
exactly. I'm a jackass in general. And if there's one thing I am passionate about, it is games and game design and what's right and wrong for a game. We've seen what happened when other aspects of the game got the treatment people are now asking for heroic raids, and it did not work out in a positive way for the game. Don't repeat the same freaking mistake. So I'm going to suggest something a bit controversial here.
Kill them
To
all.
No, actually, for raid content, I think it might be actually be an idea to go back to one difficulty, like in the Burning Crusade. Have a linear progression throughout all the raid dungeons, and make all that content a one-line progression, uh, yeah, line, I guess, basically. So that you start out with, the Karazhans and the Gruul's lairs, and people get their first taste of raiding there and start becoming better at raiding. Then they move on to something like McThurden's Lair, which requires a bit more coordination. And then once you've had all that, you've had the basic training in raiding, basically. Because let's face it, LFR doesn't give that. Flex, the numbers are pretty forgiving as well. And then you'd move on to, the Tempest Keeps and the Serpentine Caverns, which is a step higher up, and people would be challenged on that level again. Basically, have that linear progression through all those different tiers, so that people have something to strive for. For me, as a player back in the Burning Crusade, I was a noob then. Yes, my raiding roots are in the Burning Crusade. I did Karazhan for most of the Burning Crusade. Some Gruul's Lair, eventually some McThurden's Lair, and Serpentine Cavern, I believe, maybe first boss. And Tempest Keep, two bosses. And then when things got nerfed at the end, even the first boss of Mount Hyjal. But having something to look forward to, looking up to the players who actually have been able to do that content, was something I was glad to have. Yes, I couldn't do all the content. Was I pissed about it? No. It gave me something to strive for. So I think that system should be brought back. It would literally give people something to do, and they really can't complain about it then.
The only thing is, it was a good system back in the day. The one thing I would possibly change, and I would possibly do, is stuff like achievements and stuff for fights.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that worked quite well in TVC because I know why they took it out, because it was one of these situations where if you missed the one day when you got attuned, you basically couldn't raid for the rest of the week. But
Yeah.
that's why you have a big roster.
Yes, and my solution to that is, which is also I've been saying something I've been saying for a long while now, that they do need to bring back. Make it guild wide, plain and
Yeah.
simple. Gives you something to work together as a team, as a guild as well.
Yeah, sort of a compromise between the two.
Yeah.
Because
I
at
think
the,
it would. That would be nice, to be honest. That would make things a lot easier.
because at the moment you've got a situation where they don't really know what they want. The people don't really know what to expect from everything, and it is a little bit. It's getting a little bit depressing because every single time we have one of these conversations now,
Mm-hmm.
they're thinking about nerfing this or thinking about doing that. You sort of sit there going, why? Because we've got so much, like there's so much lore that you lot know everything about and can happily, but I mean, tell me about and all this type of stuff. And they've got such a rich thing to go for. Why ruin a game by nerfing it? No, keep it hard, keep it like it is. You've got, especially in the next expansion, there's you got to think about it. The next expansion, they are trying to sort of solve the situation because
At least in the
progression,
dungeons.
at least in dungeons, progression raids will be mythical. That is the only bit of progression. Everything else, other
Friends
guilds,
and family.
friends and family can go through LF4, Flexi, and then normal. That is their progression.
Yeah.
Now, did they say is normal going to be as hard as hard mode is now, or
Basically, what's called normal now will be called heroic in Warlords. What's called flex now will be called normal in Warlords.
that's good?
And LFR is LFR.
Yeah, there we go. And you just have the issue, and you have the worry that is it going to work out? There's going to be a lot of doing. Hopefully, it'll work out, and that may be the thing that they're doing. People turn around saying, "Oh, only 0.23% have killed it on heroic." Well, maybe now because of doing this whole 10-man and all this type of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's the compromise they're doing. Maybe they're doing. Maybe they're just going to turn around and say, "Actually, do you know what? Now we can just turn around and tell people, look, there you go. You've got your easy heroics. But we want to do mythical. Get a 20-man guild. But we've not got a 20-man guild. Ha, fuck off."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, thing is, this episode has been ranty, but that's only because we're passionate about it. We're passionate about this game. We're passionate about the game design in general, and this is something we want to see improve and not to digress. But when there's this other part of the community which has a pretty loud voice trying to diminish the game as a whole, yeah, then sure, we have a podcast now. We're going to use it to bring our message out, our side of the story. And yes, it's going to contain swear words because it's frustrating as hell. And yes, there's going to be rants like LJ's and even mine a bit, where where it's a little bit emotional, but it's coming from a good place. So I think we are pretty much done with this subject. If there's an update about it, I'm sure we'll talk about it again because we care.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, think South Park BP. They have "We Care" on the ship.
We DP it.
Oh dear God. Oh, oh man. Okay, that went bad really
That
fast.
one bad fast, huh?
Oh man. Oh,
I know. I
hell,
know what you
hell.
mean. It's just. I think if
We
people don't
care.
notice it,
Yeah.
then they're blind. But I mean, a lot of people, not us, but a lot of people who've been here for the longest time. I saw statistics from, I think it was Razer that did the statistics for World of Warcraft, and that most of the players are in our age category and have been playing the game for 5 or 6 plus years. I mean, that's the largest group they have at the moment. So if people who are not in that group all of a sudden now want it to be easier, where do they get the nerve? You're not gonna go for run for politics and go do your say there. But I mean, don't push it on us if on our free time, on our free time and on the thing we were so passionate and we love so much. Go do it somewhere else, but don't try to. Every time somebody tries to do that to somebody else, it'll end wrong, and
This game
that's
grew big with the difficult content. It's because of it, not because. No, look at Cataclysm, look at Mop, look at the subscription drops. Things got more simple. What happened? People didn't have things to do. It's the cause of the subscription drop, um,
yeah, not
not the other way around.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah,
oh yeah,
the,
I remember what real life analogy I wanted to make. So you know how there's a lot of discussion these days about um, basically with kids and always giving them a reward even if they lose. For example, with tournaments and such like that, with I don't know football.
yeah, the
For
runner up
example.
or something.
Exactly. Everyone always gets a trophy. No, why? You need to learn that if you're not the best, if you don't put the effort in. I guess in that sense the analogy doesn't work, but you have to do something to get something, and that includes in a game. Um,
Yep.
for example, only do the normal campaign in StarCraft 2. Am I mad that people get achievements from doing Brutal? Am I saying, I want them as well? Nerf Brutal so I can do it. No. I admit that I'm too lazy to do Brutal or all the other campaigns on the difficulties before it. And I move on. I still play the game.
Sorry about
Oh,
No,
you're still alive, Matt.
I mean, yes, the last 5, maybe even 10 minutes, we've gotten very one-sided.
Well, I think,
But yeah,
unfortunately, with the situation we've got, there's not, how passionate we get about the situation, there's not much else we can be but one side on it. Um, if we deep down try and look for any possible good reasons for nerfing, like the progress of like nerfing raids, we can't find one. There isn't one in our eyes there, and that is because we've been there, seen it. As you said, so as soon as it got easier, some people left the game. We've played other games looking for that level of hardness now, looking for the challenge which is in there.
yeah.
Hopefully, we shall find it. If we find it in another game, we'll find it in another game. That is the way of what happens. That is basically what happens in these games nowadays. And it's
Yeah.
just an unfortunate way of doing it. But um, if Blizzard are prepared for that, if Blizzard are happy for that, so be it. But I don't think they will. By all accounts, I think Mythical will be quite a challenge. We already know it's going to be a challenge for a lot of guilds anyway in previous discussions. And it's again that situation. How many of us do actually agree with it? Well, not many of us. But at the end of the day, it's happened, and it's going to make it a more unique challenge trying to sort it out. But as long as as long as the content is worth it, then I don't think the people stay there. People keep playing. The one issue I have is because of these people moaning is when they make the big change to 20-man maiden, are we then going to find a situation where, oh, that's boring. It's quite easy actually. And are we really, really going to be disappointed?
Yeah.
So,
That's something we'll sadly have to wait and see, and probably even longer, going back to the first point of the day. Um, Now, to end this, the only thing that would have made this better is if we had a casual player on here with us. To actually,
LJ?
well, I wouldn't call LJ completely casual because
Watch it. Your girlfriend is in the same guild.
Oh yeah, there is that.
yeah, but LJ has done uh,
I
challenging
have a
rating.
fairly long past of doing
Exactly.
challenging and heroic content. I mean, I'm not
And you still
the
feel
usual.
passionate about it.
I still feel very passionate about it because I did it a lot and I enjoyed it a lot. It's just I did not do it. I just don't enjoy it nowadays anymore, and I don't know if that's because of the changes that have been made or I just don't feel like it anymore. It's just but I still feel passionate about it, and of course the invincible I have.
Shut up.
But no, it's just
Mm.
it is still part of me, of course, and it's always going to be a part of me that I did that, and I really enjoyed it a lot. So it's insufferable for me now to see that which I played so fondly as being torn apart by people who have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to imply that, but I guess on some level
No,
at
but
least.
I don't mean I mean like people who just joined the game who are not. I'm not talking about just casuals. I'm talking about people who dare, who joined the game, recently, who want to change it already and are so loudmouth that even I can hear them from China or something. I mean, seriously, wow.
They get harder content. They get 2 lockouts a week.
No, I'm not talking about China. I'm just talking
Yeah,
about
I know. I'm trying to make a joke.
fuck.
Whoa,
Don't do that ever again, man.
What, to make a joke?
you can't make jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's time to wrap it up for the third time I'm gonna try it.
Ooh,
So,
Christmas.
thanks for watching. If you enjoyed our podcast or really rant today, um, please subscribe to the channel. Click the subscribe button. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think of the show. And if you have a discussion point you want us to discuss, or at least to consider discussing, leave it in the comments. Also, click the like button. Always nice to know that people do like our stuff.
I don't.
Oh yeah, if you can't follow, if you don't have a YouTube account, you can follow us, or rather me, but it is for all of us. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook at twitter.com/bbmezzy or facebook.com/bbmezzy. Thank you, Matt, for joining,
It's been a pleasure as always.
as always. LJ, as always,
As
thanks
always,
for joining.
glad to be here. Was really I think it was a really nice episode today. So
I mean, I
Uh,
really enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know if people will enjoy the ranting if they're passionate about rating as well. I'm sure they will. If they're not, it's probably not going to be a great success for them.
if they're not, go screw them.
I am going to add one more nice polite thing. We
Oh.
are not purely evil. We're not this grumpy.
Messi is.
Apart
We
from
not
Messi.
we're not mad, but
Well,
Messi is pure
Mhm.
evil.
it is just because passionate. Now there are going to be people if we ever did have anyone listen to this, it was from like best girl in the world or that type of malarkey. They are the people who push and push and push the boundaries, and we are the people that follow.
Yes.
That is how it works.
Yeah.
Exactly. We look
if
up
they-
to those people.
Yeah, if this game got affected in a way that they would leave the game because if it went easy, then it would be a worse place. So that is partly why we rant and rave.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we've stated it many times. We're passionate about it. As far as I know, we will be here next week. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See you later.